Hey everybody, Ads here. Just introducing you to a new video series I'm going to start doing. It's going to be called the Halo 5 Textbook Series. And basically what I'm going to be doing with it is running you through the fundamentals of how to play Halo. I'm going to start with the absolute basics, all the way up to the very advanced stuff. So, I mean, I've got at least 10 episodes worth of content that I can give you guys. So episode 1 is going to be aiming and general movement. A lot of the top players have put a lot of thought into their aim and how they move over time, anyway, over a period of years. So we're going to start with sensitivity and settings. So I'm just going to go to my sensitivity and settings and show you what I'm playing on. So I'm playing on Boxer settings for buttons. I've always played on that since I played Halo 1. No real reason why, so I wouldn't take too much note of that. 4 look sensitivity, 5 look acceleration. The reason for this, I like to have a high look acceleration so that when I do want to turn around fast, I can. Because the look acceleration is going to help you to sort of do 180s quickly if someone's shooting you in the back or whatever. And with the look sensitivity, you know, you want to have it as fast as you can without sacrificing aim. Something I noticed with my aim was my accuracy was the same whether it was on 2 sensitivity or 4 sensitivity. So I thought I may as well increase it to 4, that way when I do need to turn around and look around fast I can do it, and my pistol didn't really suffer from it. Next point is toggle crouch. You definitely want to have this off. Just gives you a bit more control over how you're crouching. So when you're holding the thumbstick down, that's when you crouch and you know it, and you don't have to click it to get out of it, and just lets you move around a bit faster. Next thing I want to talk about, disable assassinations. You want to have that on. You want your assassinations disabled. Obviously you don't want to be sitting there mid-game doing the assassination animation on somebody. You're just going to take extra shots. Maintain sprint. I normally have this off. When the game first came out, there was a few glitches you could do with it off. It doesn't really seem to make much of a difference either way now. Auto stabilize, I've got that on. Once again, I had that on because originally I didn't have a controller with paddles on it, so I didn't really have too much control over it. And I'm used to it now. Honestly, I would have that off if I could start again, so you have that bit of extra control. Now vibration, I would definitely recommend having this off. It was kind of like discovered back in the Halo 2 days that your aim was a lot steadier, especially when sniping. If you had your vibration off, it helps keep your aim and your hands a little calmer while you're playing. The vibration can put you off and make you jump a little bit, so I definitely recommend having that off. Now the dead zones, that's a big thing. I think default dead zones are on 10% and 12%. The way dead zones work is a little complicated, but basically you're just reducing the amount of analog stick that actually works on your controller the higher they are. So ideally you want to have them as low as possible. A lot of pros play with 0-0. I was playing with 0-0 for a long while, and then I found moving the outer dead zone to 2% helped my aim a little bit. I was kind of flicking it around a little too much with 0%, so I moved it back up to 2, and it really has helped me keep it steady. And the other thing I wanted to speak about is clawing versus using a paddled controller. I've always clawed. Like I said, back when I started playing competitively, we didn't have paddle controllers, and clawing with Boxer settings was perfect. It was basically as good as you could get. Now I've got a paddle controller, and I use the paddles and I still claw. But I've basically got it set up so yeah, basically what you want to be able to do is never have to take your fingers off the thumbsticks. If you have to take your thumbs off either one of those thumbsticks, it's going to slow your game down, and you're going to have to make up for it in some way. You know, if you have to take your thumb off the right thumbstick to jump or whatever, you now can't aim. So you definitely want to customize your controller setup so you never have to move your thumbs off the thumbsticks. Alright, so next thing I want to talk about is aiming with your strafe versus aiming with your right thumbstick. Now, this is something I didn't realize was an issue with a lot of players, but I was asked the question the other day, how do I aim? You know, do I aim via strafing or do I aim with my right thumbstick? And the answer to that question is, you know, a bit of both. The problem with aiming with your strafe is, yes, you do hit a lot more shots, but you're also very easy to hit yourself. It basically means the player you're shooting needs less skill to kill you. So what you really want to be doing is making yourself as hard to hit as possible. You know, you're going to have to use your right thumbstick for that. Now, using your right thumbstick does take a little bit more skill, but it's just something you got to get used to, and you know, just grinding the game out is basically how you're going to get better aim with that. Make yourself as hard as possible to hit, and make the enemy rely on their aim to try and kill you. Next thing I want to talk about, sprinting. So a lot of players sprint far too much and will actually get a lot of deaths due to their sprint, you know. A small thing that you want to be doing is, you know, if you're sprinting into an area, you want to stop sprinting before you move into that next room, you know. If you move into the next room where you're going to get into a battle and you're sprinting, your gun's not out and you're not going to get the first shot. That's two massive things that are going to cause you're going into a fight with a huge disadvantage already. Overall, it's better for you to not sprint at all than it is to sprint too much. You know, a time I do recommend sprinting is when you've got a teammate ahead of you. They've kind of relayed some information to you, and you're just trying to get to them as quick as possible. You know, if you are playing with your team and you're sort of leading the charge, you know, you really want to be careful where you sprint, you know, because you are going to be the first point of contact for the enemy team, and if you are not ready to shoot, you know, you're running into a disadvantage fight straight off the bat. Next point, guys, thrusting and sliding. So once again, another thing I see a lot of players do is they don't give themselves a back out option. So a lot of players are thrusting into fights, and basically now you have no way to back out of that fight, no way to back out of that area. You've got to finish what you've started. And a lot of the time people are thrusting into areas where they have got no information, and they're thrusting into, you know, two enemies, and now they have nowhere to get at and they're dead. So something you really want to be doing is always saving your thrust to get out of situations. You know, you can't really use your slide to get out of a situation, generally speaking, because you've got to be sprinting to activate it. You know, sliding is a good way to get into a situation. You know, it's basically just as fast as a thrust. You're just as hard to hit, but your gun is out and your gun's ready to shoot. You know, so definitely recommend sliding into battles, but saving that thrust to get out. Now, like I was saying, you can use your thrust and slide to catch up to a teammate, or to get to a teammate very quickly who needs help. You know, but you've obviously got to have enough information to know you're not going to get shot. Last point I want to talk about, everybody, is strafing. So strafing, not a massive thing in Halo 5. You know, there is a common strafe among the pros, which is pretty simple. You know, you basically jump in one direction and thrust back the other way. It puts off a lot of people. It sort of delays your death, makes them miss a couple of shots. Something you definitely want to incorporate into your game. But once again, you really only want to use that thrust if you have to. You know, if you're forced to fight that person and there's really no way of getting out, or you know, you feel really confident you're going to get the kill. Otherwise, you do want to be saving that thrust to back out of situations and just stay alive. Alright guys, so that wraps up episode 1. I hope you enjoyed the content. Let me know of anything you want to see in future episodes. I can let you know episode 2 is going to be on map awareness, teammates and support. So I'm going to slowly get a little bit more advanced as the episodes go on. You know, we started off with the very basic stuff today. A lot of you guys might know a lot of this, but make sure you incorporate it into your game. Alright, thanks everybody. I'll talk to you later.